The 3-minute video that's part of Midnight Moment in Times Square begins in winter with snow coming down on the thousands of sheep in the stark fields of Wyoming. And we see the summer pastures with the many sheep crossing over the hills of the Bighorn Mountains. And then lastly, we follow them down back to the ranch as they trail through the red wall of Wyoming.
I want to leave you with one more final thought, and it comes from one of my favorite theologians, the character Jules in the movie Pulp Fiction. And if you've ever seen this movie, sorry, this will make sense in a second. If you've ever seen this movie, there's a scene where Jules is sort of a violent gangster, and a guy unloads on him at point blank range, and he sort of looks at himself and expects it to be, riddled with bullets, and then he's totally fine. And he gets into an argument with this fellow violent gangster about whether this was a miracle, whether God had come down from heaven and stopped these mother effing bullets. That was the exact phrase from that movie. And they argue about it, and they go back and forth, and the guy says, and Jules, this is Samuel L. Jackson's character, says, well, look, it's not about whether God changed Coke to Pepsi or found my car keys. What matters is that I felt the touch of God. And I want to tell you a story because I think that, and again, I was motivated in part by having conversations with my 7-year-old. When we think about miracles, we think about Moses parting the Red Sea. But one of the really deep beliefs I have is that there are all of these small little miracles. And if you look for them, you actually see them. And I'll tell you, yesterday morning, I woke up, I went to bed around 1 in the morning, and I woke up around 3:30 in the morning. And, my mind is racing. I'm the kind of guy, I sleep like a baby. Even the past couple of weeks going through this vetting process for the vice presidential nomination, I still slept like a baby. My head hits the pillow, I'm out, I wake up 6 hours later, and I feel great. That's how it's always been for me. But for some reason yesterday, on the morning of the biggest speech of my life, I've got 2.5 hours of sleep. My kids aren't going to be up for 3 or 4 hours, so I'm bored, alone, anxious, and thoughts are racing through my head a mile a minute. And I say very simply, after 30 minutes of trying to, count sheep or count backwards from 500 to 1, I finally just say, Jesus, please help me.
Come on, one. You and I are actually a lot alike. We're both in the sleep business. We both work really hard.
Sure.
And we both wear wool suits.
We are having some technical difficulties, which is totally understandable when you try to do, ad hoc reporting and getting information to you as fast as we possibly can and making sure that it's accurate at the same time. So
Donald Trump is on the line. I mean, we know him as the man behind lots of real estate in Manhattan. And of course, Donald, I understand you were actually a witness to what happened this morning.
Well, I have a window that looks directly at the World Trade Center, and I saw this huge explosion. I was with a group of people, and I really couldn't even believe it.
So what do you think of my Trump home mattress collection by Serta? Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to Room 9.
Looking good, number 9, looking good.
Where's your dignity?
And even, I think worse than that, for years I've looked right directly at the building. I'd see the Empire State Building in the foreground and the World Trade Center in the background, and now I'm looking at absolutely nothing. It's just gone, and it's just hard to believe.
Donald, Alan Marcus here. Your building is, the Trump Tower, is one of the great tourist attractions in the world. It's well known universally. Are you taking any precautions there in light of what happened at the World Trade Center?
Well, Alan, we've always had, as you know, very, very strong security, but there's very little you can do about planes crashing into a building. I mean, you look at Larry Silverstein, who's a terrific owner in New York and a very good friend of mine who I just called. I was very worried about him because I assumed maybe he was in the building. He took possession of the building 1 week ago. As you know, he just bought the World Trade Center.
Right.
And he was in his office, and he was getting ready to move into the World Trade Center over the next 2 weeks. So when I just spoke to him, there's nothing you can do when people are going to be bombing planes at your building.
It's a fire sale at President Trump's old Taj Mahal casino. The contents of the Atlantic City landmark are being cleared out in a liquidation sale. Poker tables, furniture, paintings, they all must go.
How much you pay for it?
$12.
$45. Need an iron? You've come to the right place. $8 each. Buyers got to wander the 1,250 guest rooms and suites where everything had a price tag. A table, $175. $25 for a painting. These chandeliers are the most expensive items.
Those chandeliers that are $35,000 are reportedly bought for $250,000 each.
There was a long line to get into the first day of the sale.
We're looking for artwork.
This is what the casino looked like when Donald Trump opened it in 1990.
Mr. Trump, good luck.
Thank you.
Bill O'Reilly, then the anchor of Inside Edition, interviewed Trump for the opening. Even 27 years ago, Trump was griping about the press.
You have a lot of very dishonest reporters, in my opinion. And I mean dishonest. I'm not talking about they're slightly off. I mean they are totally dishonest, where they'll report things knowingly that they're wrong.
Trump sold his interest in the Taj Mahal in 2009. Like many businesses in Atlantic City, the casino fell on hard times. Now, it's just a memory.
$8 for the iron.
Now, I guess maybe the world is going to be changing, and maybe you're going to have F-16s flying all over the city, etc. But it's a pretty tough situation.
Donald, you have one of the landmark buildings down in the financial district, 40 Wall Street. Did you have any damage, or did you know what's happened down there?
Well, it was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest.
Daniel Clamp would like to speak to you.
Good morning, Mr. Wing. Well, let's cut right to key issues, okay? I'm prepared to increase my offer substantially. Now, Mr. Wing, you're attached to your business. I appreciate that. I'm attached to my business. I develop the biggest buildings in New York, and you sell, little things. Well, that's fine. Take a look, Mr. Wing. The Clamp Chinatown Center, where business gets oriented. Please, let us know when you made a decision, Mr. Wing. You know, I believe there's always an area of agreement that two people can reach. Hi, this is Daniel Clamp. You know, no visit to New York is complete without a tour of the world's most fully automated office building. My Clamp Premier Regency Trade Center and Retail Concourse, headquarters of Clamp Enterprises and home of CCN, Clamp Cable Network Television.
The death of Mr. Wing removes the last obstacle to developer Daniel Clamp's long-delayed Chinatown project. This quaint little shop, which once housed many rare objects from the Orient, must now make way for the future, Daniel Clamp style.
You know,
tomorrow's when the Futtermans are coming to town.
Oh, right.
And I just spoke to my people, and they said it's the most unbelievable sight. It's probably 7 or 8 blocks away from the World Trade Center, and yet Wall Street is littered with 2 feet of stone and brick and mortar and steel, and there are thousands of people walking over the debris over the Brooklyn Bridge, where they're sending them out over the Brooklyn Bridge to Brooklyn, and then I guess they're going to have to figure out how to get home from there. But they have between 1 foot and 2 feet of debris right in front of a building that's probably, you would say, Alan, 6 or 7 blocks away.
Donald, this is Roland Smith.
Hi, Roland.
You know, how you doing on this kind of day? You know, at some point, we're going to put all this behind us. And you as a visionary, particularly in New York real estate, what do you think that we ought to do as a city, as a people, when all of this gets, when the mourning stops, when the dead are honored, and we've found out what caused it and maybe corrected it? What does the city need to do?
Well, I guess the big thing that you really will have to do is never forget. You just can't forget that something like this happened.
I don't know, we've been living here all this time and I'm still in the same job.
It takes time, Billy.
Yeah, but if we stayed in Kingston Falls, I probably would have been promoted twice at the bank by now.
Yeah, and you'd hate it.
I don't know. At least we could afford to get a decent place to live, get married.
That's the story of the Clamp Premier Regency Office Center, where one man's dream became a reality. I hope you enjoyed today's tour, and don't forget, pick up your copy of Mr. Clamp's best-selling book, I Took Manhattan.
I was so disappointed when they closed the stock exchange, but of course, at some point, you had no choice, you know, when they initially announced it was closing, because you want to just say, the hell with it, you're going forward, nothing's going to change, but the fact is something has changed very dramatically. And I think one of the very sad things is going to be when you look at the skyline of New York, which has become so emblazoned in your own memory, and you look at the skyline of New York and you see these buildings, these 2 buildings, whether you love them or don't love them, they were a great part of the skyline. And then when you look at the skyline after 2001, and you're going to see a skyline without these 2 buildings, you're going to say, what happened? People won't believe it. You know, when you show your children or your grandchildren in years to come what New York looked like in the year 2000, and then what New York looked like just a year later, they're going to say, what happened?
It's a complete non-attack disaster horror story.
I know, but they changed the specs on me, and they moved the deadline back,
Billy,
so
this is your problem right here. You only see your little part of it. I have to have a complete situational long-term overview outlook perspective. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's almost finished. I just have a few
That
minor...
courtyard looks cold. It'll be better with the trees.
Are they going to plant trees there?
No, but you're going to draw them. This is just what I don't need right now. Do you realize we have department review in 3 weeks?
Well, I just felt
It's a nuclear meltdown disaster, I mean it.
The Clamp Center is the most advanced smart building in America with the latest in security, communications, and climate control. Now, the center is just one part of Mr. Clamp's round-the-world business network, which includes construction, sports, finance, and, of course, a popular line of jams and jellies.
The mugshot was really hot. And this stuff lasts probably about 2 months. It stays really hot. But the first week that the mugshot came out, we sold like 2,000 t-shirts.
What's that?
That's Trump's balls.
Okay.
Whitey Taylor runs a busy Trump store in Boone's Mill, a town of fewer than 500 people in southwestern Virginia. We visited a week after Christmas, with the Iowa caucuses just days away. Taylor predicted Trump would win the Republican nomination, and then business would really boom.
Can only get these here.
How much are
$20.
$20.
Customers were bullish too. What the Superfans bought offers some insight into what they want politically. The merch is not just simple campaign slogans. It's defiant, even vulgar, aimed at buyers who enjoy being mad at the state of America and think there's one guy who will fix it.
Now, for those of you who have cable TV at home, the Clap Cable Network is located right here in the building.
Well, Lewis, it's like I've always said. If you want to find something weird, you have to go downtown.
Hey, Donald, in the year 2000, Donald, you considered running for president. If you had done that and if you had been successful, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Well, I'd be taking a very, very tough line, Alan. I mean, most people feel they know at least approximately the group of people that did this and where they are. But
When Trump was indicted for all these different things, did people stop buying his merchandise?
No, they bought it more.
Why?
Yeah. Because they knew it was like Russia collusion. This is all just all bull, made up bull. Now, he has gained a lot of people because of this administration that we have now, yeah.
You get people coming and saying
Oh,
that?
yeah, definitely, yeah. They'll just come in and say, never again will I be that stupid, you know.
Boy, would you have to take a hard line on this. This just can't be tolerated, and it's got to be very, very stern. This is, as you and I were discussing before, Alan, this was probably worse than Pearl Harbor. Many more people are dead, and they don't know, they have no idea, but I have somebody that was down there who witnessed at least 10 people jumping out of the building from 70 and 80 stories up in the air. I mean, you probably have 25 or 30,000 is the number I've heard, but I would think would be much more than that. I think the most of the damage will be caused not by even in the building in terms of the people dead, but by the people on the streets from falling debris.
Donald, you're probably the best known builder, particularly of great buildings in the city. There's a great deal of question about whether or not the damage and the ultimate destruction of the buildings was caused by the airplanes, by architectural defect, or possibly by bombs or aftershocks. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it was an architectural defect. The World Trade Center was always known as a very, very strong building. Don't forget, that took a big bomb in the basement. Now, the basement is the most vulnerable place because that's your foundation, and it withstood that. And I got to see that area about 3 or 4 days after it took place because one of my structural engineers actually took me for a tour because he did the building. And I said, I can't believe it. The building was standing solid, and half of the columns were blown out. I mean, so this was an unbelievably powerful building.
Hi, welcome to the Trump Store.
What have you observed about what people are looking for?
People want our economy better. They're very scared, I think, because of the way things are going. They feel like where we're at right now is like stagnant.
Were you interested in politics before Trump?
Yes, and it's strange because I've always been Democrat.
Really?
Yes. So I am a firm believer in believing in a person and system that's going to make positive changes. I think in the past, I made some quick judgments about my voting. And so I'm very more selective and it's more thought put into it.
I'm going to vote blue. Vote for who you want. This is a free dictatorship.
What's coming up right now?
Who knows? The more the Democrats talk about mega crazy people, then something will spin off of it.
Calm and centered. I enjoy giving milk.
Martin?
I enjoy.
Hello, Doctor. How's the cloning work coming along?
Really well, Doctor.
Lewis?
Say, Doctor, we've got something we want you to take a look at. This is the most interesting bioelectrical work I've ever done. Just think, millions of rats in New York City and everyone hates them. This is the most interesting bioelectrical work I've ever done. Just think. Millions of rats in New York City, and everyone hates them.
If you know anything about structure, it was one of the first buildings that was built from the outside. The steel, the reason the World Trade Center had such narrow windows is that in between all the windows, you had the steel on the outside. So you had the steel on the outside of the building. That's why when I first looked, and you had big, heavy I-beams, when I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it because there was a hole in the steel. And this is steel that was, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. And in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747 or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall.
It's him! He's here! Mr. Clown, sir, I'm Walla Bloodstone. I'm the department head here. If there's anything at all
It's okay. Everybody just relax and go on about what you'd be doing normally. Hey, I know I haven't been down here before, but that's going to change. I'm going to be more hands-on with these operations from now on. Hey, this is excellent.
Isn't that terrific?
Buildings are built with the steel is on the inside around the elevator shaft. This one was built from the outside, which is the strongest structure you can have, and it was almost just like a can of soup.
You know, Donald, we were looking at pictures all morning long of that plane coming into building number 2, and when you see that approach the far side, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of a millisecond, the explosion pops out the other side.
Right.
People in Chinatown give a street festival, a sort of a spontaneous outpouring of appreciation for the, everything I've done for the community down there. We're gonna have those dragons, with the guys inside, those big long dragons, and maybe we could have a parade, with all that.
I just think that it was a plane with more than just fuel. I think, obviously, they were very big planes. They were going very rapidly because I was also watching where the plane seemed to be not only going fast, it seemed to be coming down. into the building. So it was getting the speed from going downhill, so to speak.
Three, two, one, cue Leonard.
Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin, and this is the Movie Police.
3, 2.
Oh my gosh. Did somebody leave something out? Not I.
It's eating my vegetable medley.
It just seemed to me that to do that kind of destruction is even more than a big plane, because you're talking about taking out steel, the heaviest caliber steel that was used on a building. I mean, these buildings were rock solid.
Officer, just let us in there. We'll take the responsibility.
Forget it, lady. Most of the people are out of there now.
Then what's in there? I've been to Beirut.
And it's just an amazing thing. This country is different today, and it's going to be different than it ever was for many years to come.
Very profound statement and very true.
Donald, one last question for you. Given the magnitude of how much of American commerce took place within the Twin Towers, what do you, as you're an expert on this, what do you think is going to be the fallout over the next several weeks, months, and even years, given what we have lost in terms of those buildings going down and all that was within it?
Well, I, as an example, Alan, and you might use them too, but I have an insurance company that was on the 102nd floor of the World Trade Center. They're gone. I don't know who's gone. I don't know anything other than their offices are no longer there. They're wiped out.
The important thing is to keep this out of the media. You know how these people are. They get you to say something. The important thing is to keep this out of the media.
You'll have to set it up from the outside.
Oh, good. I finally get to use my secret exit.
You know, sir.
Yes, Bill?
If you pull this off, you could save the city.
Save the city. Developer saves city. I like that. Good.
The Morgan Stanley Group, Morgan Stanley, a big, powerful firm, they had 50 stories in the building. Gone. I mean, you're talking about some firms that are just gone. Now, Morgan Stanley, in that case, had a lot of its offices in Midtown, and they had about half downtown. Morgan Stanley's a big, powerful firm. They're gone. Many firms had all of their offices, as you know, in the World Trade Center. It was 8 million square feet. 8 million square feet is the size of some cities.
Hey, that's Clem. Let's go.
Mr. Clamp, is it true the building's been evacuated?
Sir, is the building on fire? No, that's a false alarm. We've just got some problems.
And we had 8 million square feet in the world, 4 million in each building. They were huge buildings, not only in height, but each floor was 50,000 feet. They were monstrous floors. Each floor was almost a city in itself, and they had 110 floors or so. So, many firms that were easily recognizable for those of us in the financial worlds, for those of us that read the papers and see the financial pages, they're going to be gone. I mean, they're just not going to exist anymore. They're gone.
Donald Trump.
Many of the people are gone with them.
Donald Trump, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you
we
all.
really
Good luck.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And you
Same
too.
to you.
We will not fear. Even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling. There is a river whose stream shall make glad the city of God.
You are absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith, and you're absolutely right that that has not come my Christian faith. And
the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her just at the break of dawn.
Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again.
I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom.
They were our neighbors, our friends, our husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, children, and parents. They were the ones who rushed in to help. 2,983 innocent men, women, and children. We have asked their families to come here to speak the names out loud, to remind each of us of the person we lost.
There you go.
Well done.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew. The letter Vav is also the number 6. Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O? There's a cross. Okay. What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name Monster? So I thought, well, maybe this is a Christian company then. BFC at the bottom of the can. Do you know what that stands for? That's the F word. Big can. In fact, they write it on the side of the can, so I know that's the F word. Okay. Now, do you know what a MILF is? Yes. That's on the box. MILFs dig it, and you will too. This is not a Christian company at all. So why would they have the cross on the can? Here is the message. Antichrist.
Monster Energy has brought such a great feeling and vibe.
What I love about Monster Energy, they brought so much fun to NASCAR.
And the Monster Energy girls.
Of course.
Monster Energy, they brought out all their friends and all their toys.
It's the show they were putting on. Yeah. Unreal.
This race, it's going to be a monster. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Monster Energy for supporting our series.
This Monster Energy Cup series is so fun to race in.
Monster Energy, thank you for sponsoring the series.
I want to congratulate Martin Truex to being the very first Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion.
666 in Hebrew, and then the Bible talks about the beast in Revelation, and look at Monster's ad. This is their statement. You see these M's everywhere. Hats, t-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here? If God can use people and product, so can Satan.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
I am the beast. The big bro. You know, the United States should look after its little bro. And that's how we feel.
How about the trade? What about, there's some trade disputes between the U.S. and the EU, and how do you think?
We wish it can.
We actually have some stuff that we
I will
have to do
say,
right now.
Connor is here to meet with the president. He'll be meeting with him later this afternoon. We couldn't think of a better guest to have with us on St. Patrick's Day. We're both wearing our green. This was not planned, but very festive. And as you know, I'll be having a briefing later at 1 o'clock, so we'll talk more about their meeting later. But he's going over to meet with some other administration officials. He's spending the day in Washington, D.C.
For sure.
So
I'm here to raise the issues the people of Ireland face.
Awesome. Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, guys. All right, God bless.
Bye, guys. We'll see you later.
Nice kids, nice students, one of my own. I guess you want to do all. Congratulations, sir. I tell you what, your work ethic is inspiring. Your work rate is inspiring.
And look at it this way. Even if the M was not the issue, you cannot deny that that is a cross. And what is witchcraft? When the cross goes upside down.
Did you enjoy doing business with Donald Trump?
Actually, Donald's terrific. I've done several things with Donald on golf courses, and he has absolutely treated me great. He has been above board. He has been whatever I want to do, as long as it's reasonable. No, I think he's been terrific.
Is there anything transferable or surprising from your experience with Donald Trump as a businessman that you're seeing unfold on the political landscape?
Well, I don't want to get political in this. But I like what Donald has done. I like he's turning America upside down. He's awakening the country.
Bottoms up, and the devil laughs. Something to think about. Wow. This is how clever Satan is, and how he gets into the Christian home and a Christian's life, and it breaks God's heart. Jesus said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge."
Do you not think an angel rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm? This work continues. The story goes on. And an angel still rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm. God bless you all. And God bless America.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Yes, sound it out. Get ready. Sound it out. Get ready. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Hide. Yes, hide. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 150.
You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.